Hi again, everyone. Gary Digital Williams here on Beltway Boxing News and Notes on the Boxing on Beltway Podcast Network. And, of course, you can always hear the podcast network on Spreaker.com. We're on live on Spreaker.com. We're also on TuneIn.com. We're on iHeartRadio.com. And we're on Stitcher.com. Remember that big offer for Stitcher Premium using the code BOXING. You can get 1 month of Stitcher Premium free from Boxing on the Beltway. So we have some great events coming up. We have some recaps we want to talk about this week, both on the pro and the amateur side, and we're going to update the Beltway Boxing schedule to give you one big event that's taking place on Friday night, October the 18th. It's our next local Beltway Boxing card. We're going to give you an early preview of that as well. Before we go, before we continue, I should say, wanted to dedicate this podcast to a nice young man who passed away this past week, Tim Valentine. He was a local trainer here in the Beltway, worked with the Fox brothers, worked with a couple other boxers in the Beltway boxing area. He passed away of cancer back on September 14th, and actually his birthday, as we record this, was scheduled to be today. And so Tim Valentine, he went by his Muslim name, Mansour Vide, and we just wanted to dedicate this podcast to him today. Beltway Boxing News and Notes on Boxing on Beltway Podcast Network is brought to you as always by Real Time Pain Relief. From boxers to ballerinas, for shoulder pain and muscle strain, and everything between, Boxing on the Beltway recommends Real Time Pain Relief, the natural, plant-based, safe, fast, and effective ointment. You go to freepainoffer.com, buy $10 worth of Real Time Pain Relief, you get a free $10 tube of Real Time Pain Relief, now the official pain relief of the 2020 Daytona 500. That's indeed, that just came up to us this week. So Real Time Pain Relief, the official pain relief of the 2020 Daytona 500. Rub it on, the pain is gone in real time. And by DeborahSpears.com, great weight loss tips that she has in her book. She also has great training methods, and also she sells that great jewelry on her site. So go to Deborah, that's Debra Spears.com. Once again, you can always find me on Twitter at Digital25, and any other information you want to give to me or any question you might have, you can go to Beltwayboxing at hotmail.com. Got a couple things going on this week, and in the past week we had a nice recap for a number of Beltway boxers who were involved in bouts on both coasts, actually, 2 in Las Vegas, 1 in Pennsylvania. Baltimore, Maryland super lightweight Malik Iceman Hawkins, he made his Mayweather Promotions debut, and he made it very successfully this past weekend on Saturday, September 21st. He scored a blistering first-round knockout. Actually, it was on Friday, September 20th. And he scored a first-round knockout over Al Machine Gun Rivera of Santa Rosa City, Laguna, Philippines. That was at the Cannery Casino and Hotel in Las Vegas, Nevada. Hawkins dropped Rivera with some blistering shots in the first round, and Rivera could not beat the count. He was trying to take it all the way to 9.5. I think he overshot it, and he did not get up in time. The bout was stopped at 2 minutes, 45 seconds of the first round. Hawkins is now 17-0, 10 KOs. Rivera is 20-4, 18 KOs. And again, Hawkins making his Mayweather Promotions debut, and he made it very, very, very explosive debut. Now, on the main event on that card, Bedford, Virginia light heavyweight Scott Cujo Sigmon, he lost by 7th round TKO to Lionel Lonnie B. Thompson, Las Vegas. And I remember where I'd heard that name, Lonnie B. Thompson, before. He was scheduled to be on a card in the Beltway, I believe, at MGM National Harbor Casino in March. I believe he was scheduled to be on the Lamont Peterson Sergey Lipinets card. I believe that was the one. But he was scheduled to take on Sakio Bika that night, and the bout got canceled for whatever reason. So, he was scheduled to be on that card. But anyway, reports on the bout said the bout was slow-paced. It resembled a sparring session. After the 7th round, Sigmon's corner would not allow Sigmon to come out for the 8th round. Now, Sigmon did not appear at the press conference after the fight, but he did announce his retirement from boxing on his Facebook page. Here's part of what he said. Excuse me. Quote, tonight I had no reflexes, no timing, and no chance. Boxing retired me tonight. I am a shell of what I once was. I won't keep going and embarrass myself further. Thank you, everyone, for the many years of support. I tell you something. and I've talked about this a lot on the podcast, I really admire what Scott Cujo Sigmon has done over the past few years here in the Beltway. And then beyond, really. Lynchburg, Virginia. He's been a franchise boxer in his home area of Lynchburg, Virginia, and Bedford and surrounding areas. I did a card up there a few years ago, actually, with him, and he was headlining, the place was packed. The guy is a great ticket seller. He's got great charisma, and he's done a lot, not only as a boxer, but as a promoter, as well as a trainer. He runs the Hurt Factory up there in the Bedford, Virginia area. And he's done a lot for professional boxing in the Beltway. And he's had some great bouts here in the area. Of course, he had the wonderful bout against Phil Jackson Benson a few years ago. And, he said a couple of times, actually, prior to this one, that he said he's going to retire. But this time, I think he means it. I think he's going to do it. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. But Sigmon's final record, if he does retire, and I believe he will, is 34-13-1, 17 KOs. Thompson raised his record to 21-5, 12 KOs. So continue best wishes to Scott Cujo Sigmon. I know he'll bring some of his great boxers through the Beltway, through the Hurt Factory, and I look forward to seeing him down the road. Meanwhile, over at the Parks Casino in Bensalem, Pennsylvania, Hagerstown, Maryland super middleweight, the sexy Albanian young Pllana, he put on a dominating performance over Jamal the Truth Davis in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He scored a fourth round TKO in that bout. Gary Rosado mercifully stopped the contest at 2:28 of the round. Pllana is now 6-1, 3 KOs. Davis drops to 18-16-1, 7 KOs, and reports are that he has announced his retirement from boxing after this bout. I did see Jamal Davis's last bout was at the MGM National Harbor Casino a couple months ago, and while he tried to look competitive, he really was outmatched in that bout as well, and it seemed to be the same way. He went to a unanimous decision in that bout. He did try hard, but he just didn't have enough for that bout. And Pllana looks like he took all the rest of it out of him with that fourth round TKO. So once again, Pllana 6-1, 3 KOs, and he continues on his career. He bounced back from a loss, his only loss, and he's fought very well since then. Also on this past weekend, on Saturday, September 21st, Antoine Russell of the boxing Russell brothers out of Capitol Heights, Maryland, he needed just 32 seconds to knock out late substitute Luis Ronaldo Castillo of Empalme, Sonora, Mexico, at the Rabobank Theater Arena in Bakersfield, California. Russell pummeled Castillo with both hands before that bout was stopped, and Russell remains perfect. He's 11-0, all 11 wins by knockout. Castillo falls to 25, 15 KOs. Now, Antonio Russell was scheduled to be on that card, but for some reason his bout was scratched. So congratulations to Antoine the Last Russell. And by the way, hopefully you get a chance to go on my blog page, boxonbeltway.blogspot.com, and I posted, thanks to a fan who pointed this out to me, there's a great interview that I guess was done about a month or so ago with the whole Russell family. Gary Russell Sr., as well as Gary Russell Jr., of course, the WBC featherweight champion, their co-trainer, Alan Russell, and, of course, Antonio and Antoine were all part of this interview. Very nicely done interview. And, again, people know my love for the Russell family. I mean, they are a great family. I've been following all of them since they were little kids. I've known them seemingly forever, thank goodness. And they've just been first-class people, and they show why they're first-class people during this interview. So you go on my blog page, boxonbeltway.blogspot.com, and you can see that interview that The Zone did with the Russell family. Now, one other bout we had this past weekend, Charles Johnson, the cruiserweight out of Upper Marlboro, Maryland, he lost by third round TKO to the debuting Emmanuel Etienne of Yonkers, New York. That was at the Paramount Theater in Huntington, New York. And Charles Johnson now 1-4 with 1 KO. And it's interesting, his last 4 bouts have all been against debuting boxers, and he's lost all 4 of them. He won one. He won his first one. That was against Chester Stewart. That was at the Live Casino in Hanover, Maryland, on August 18th of last year. He won that by third round TKO, but everybody else he is lost to. lost a 4-round unanimous decision in September of 2018, lost a 4-round majority decision in April of this year, and now lost the 3rd-round TKO to Emmanuel Etienne on September 20th at Huntington, New York. And his debut bout, he lost a 4-round unanimous decision to Musin Kaysen back in June of 2018 at Martins West in Woodlawn, Maryland. So hopefully he can get it turned around for Charles Johnson, who's now 1-4 with 1 KO. That's the pro recap for this week. Now the amateur one, of course, we only have one big thing, but it's a big one, no question about that. And we do have to say congratulations to Alexander Virginia lightweight Keyshawn Davis. He won a silver medal at the Elite Men's World Championships in Ekaterinburg, Russia. Now, Davis's bid for the gold fell short in the championship last Saturday. He lost a 5-0 decision to Andy Cruz of Cuba. And Davis has just had a tough time with Cruz because he's lost 3 straight times. The last 3 times they've met, Davis has lost all 3 times to Cruz. Now, I happened to see the bout, and I really thought that Cruz fought well. I think at times, though, Cruz was pressuring Davis. Davis fought well, but I thought Cruz was pressuring Davis throughout the bout, and that might have given him the edge in the scores. Davis has a lot to be proud of in this tournament. He had an outstanding one. He defeated former world champions. He defeated one guy who was a former world champion and a 2016 silver medalist in the Olympics in Rio de Janeiro in 2016. On the way to silver medal in this games for Keyshawn Davis, he becomes the first lightweight boxer in the United States to win a medal at the World Championship since 1993. And it's been great. I mean, Davis also won a silver medal at the Pan American Games in Lima, Peru back in July. So Davis, he's on his way to 2020 in Tokyo. It'll be hard to stop him from getting past the U.S. Olympic trials. I can't see anybody beating him at the Olympic trials for the United States, and so we'll see what happens once he gets past that. But he's been great. He's been fantastic. He's probably the best amateur in the area right now, without question. Other than Troy Isley, who's just right now a step below Keyshawn Davis, in this in the amateur situation. Both guys have fought very, very well. Both guys are going to Olympic trials, so we look forward to some great things from both Keyshawn Davis and Troy Isley. Now, this week's schedule, as far as the Beltway pros are concerned, kind of light this week. We only have a couple Beltway boxers competing. One of them is Dameron Kirby. He'll be on the card in Roanoke, Virginia on September 27th. He'll take on Bruce Abramski. Dameron Kirby's 0-4, and he's lost all 4 of his bouts by knockout. He was knocked out by Jason Crawl back on May 18th in the Powell Center in Hockinson, Delaware, by a second-round TKO. He lost to A.J. Williams on March 8th at Live Casino by a third-round TKO. He lost to Yank Pllana in October of 2017 by first-round TKO at the Mayflower Hotel in D.C. And his debut came in 2017. He lost by first-round TKO. So light heavyweight Dameron Kirby of Washington, D.C. looking for his first win. Bruce Abramski is 1-0, so we'll see what happens in this situation. Now, the interesting about this bout is a 6-round bout, scheduled for 6 rounds, and Kirby has yet to go for 4 rounds, which I find very interesting. But we'll see what happens. Dameron Kirby taking on Bruce Abramski, and that'll be on September 27th. That's a Friday night at Roanoke, Virginia. I think it's Roanoke Civic Center in Roanoke, Virginia. Meanwhile, on Saturday, September 28th, Sulaiman Segawa. He is originally from Kampala, Uganda, but he makes his home in Silver Spring, Maryland. He is 12-2 with 4 KOs. He is going to be competing at the Buckhead Theater in Atlanta, Georgia, in a 6-round bout against Elijah Pierce. Elijah Pierce is 9-1, 8 wins by knockout. So we'll see what happens with him. His last bout, Segawa's last bout, took place at the Met in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I believe that was the same card that Malik Hawkins was on. This was on April 26th of this year. He won an 8-round unanimous decision over Godwin Rosa, who was previously undefeated at 10-0 going into that bout. So we will see what happens there. Sulaiman Segawa now fighting out of Silver Spring, Maryland by way of Uganda. He is 12-2, 4 KOs. He'll be on the card on September 28th at the Buckhead Theater in Atlanta, Georgia. He's scheduled for 6 rounds in that bout. So those are the only bouts we have scheduled for this week as far as Beltway Boxers are concerned. Now we're not going to give you the full October schedule yet. We will do that probably next week. But we do want to talk to you about one card that is scheduled for Live Casino in Hanover, Maryland. That's on Friday, October 18th. Of course, that's the casino right in the Arundel Mills Mall in Hanover, Maryland. It'll be another Jetta Promotions card. And I tell you, Jetta Promotions, Tony and Christian Jetta, have a great deal with Live Casino. They've done some outstanding work so far, and this looks like this will be another good card on Friday, October 18th. Now, 3 of the bouts are already signed for this event, and interesting bouts indeed. Main event will be an 8-round super middleweight bout between Laurel, Maryland's Damon, the best at it, Nicholson. He'll take on Devon Lee of Jamaica, Queens, New York. Now, Nicholson, 21-3-1, 20 KOs. He's the reigning WBC, USNBC, and the Maryland State super middleweight champion. However, neither of those titles will be on the line in this bout. Nicholson last fought on March the 8th at Live Casino. He scored a first-round knockout over Jesse Niccolo. Of course, Jesse Niccolo lost for the very first time in the state of Maryland on that bout. Nicholson was, however, scheduled to appear on the May 11th card at the Eagle Bank Arena. That's where Julian Williams defeated Jared Hurd at George Mason University in Fairfax, Virginia. However, after the weigh-in, he suffered debilitating cramps and he could not compete. It was interesting because Juan Marsh and I talked to Nicholson's manager, Thomas Top Dog Williams Jr., and he was talking about how excited Mom was for the bout, and compared to where when Thomas Williams was able to advance his career by being on a big card. He was on the Lamont Peterson American bout back in 2011, and we kind of compared that to what Nicholson was going to go through being on the Jared Hurd Julian Williams card, and then we heard that he had some issues physically. So he seems to be back now, and he'll be on this card. Now, his opponent, Devon Lee, is 10-6 with 1 draw and 5 KOs. He'll be trying to break a 4-bout losing streak, but he's been all against quality opposition. Streak includes his last outing, which was an 8-round split decision loss to Brandon Robinson, who was undefeated at that time. That was on May 10th in Philadelphia. Now, Lee was a member of the returning Contender Series. Epix Network had a contender last year, and he was on that show, and he lost by 5th-round knockout to Shane Mosley Jr. So I didn't get a chance to see that because I don't think at that time my cable system had Epix. So maybe I'll find those on YouTube, and I'd like to see some of those because I've always enjoyed the contender. It was a great show. Did a lot for Beltway Boxing because had Jimmy Lang, had a couple of guys. Henry Sugarpoop Buchanan was scheduled to be on that show, but he got knocked off because he didn't want to sign the lease, the agreement that said that he had to be under their promotional gathering. He didn't want to do that. And a couple other boxers were on there. Darnell Wilson. Darnell Wilson was a part of that as well. So contender was very good to the Beltway. And so Devon Lee was on that show and lost Shane Mosley Jr. So that's the main event on that card. 8-round bout. Damon Nicholson taking on Devon Lee. The co-feature will be a 6-round contest featuring Baltimore, Maryland heavyweight Slick Nick Kisner. He'll be going up against the return of Danny Smooth Kelly, originally from Washington, D.C., now fighting out of Clinton, Maryland. Now, last bout for Kisner was 21-4-1, 6 KOs. And then in the first round no contest, he clashed heads with Otto Valin and suffered a nasty cut in Atlantic City, New Jersey. So, Kisner trying to bounce back from that, and Valin went on to, I believe, a world title shot not too long ago. Meanwhile, Kelly is 9-3-1, 8 KOs. He returns for the first time since May of 2016 when he lost a 6-round unanimous decision to Stephen Shaw in Carlton, Minnesota. So it's been a long time since Kelly's been back. And Kelly was a hot prospect for a little while. He lost a couple bouts, and it's been tough ever since. I no word why he's been out for so long, but he's coming back for the first time since May of 2016, and he'll take on Nick Kisner in the co-feature. That's a scheduled 6-round bout. One other bout has already been slated for the card. Owings Mills, Maryland lightweight Brandon Brody Chambers. He'll be in a 4-round rematch against Christopher Haney of Glendale Heights, Illinois. Now, the two men fought to a 4-round draw at Live Casino on March the 8th. Now, since that bout, Chambers was 1-0-1, 1 KO. He scored a second-round TKO over Fred Thornton on August 2nd at Live Casino. Meanwhile, Haney, who's 0-3-2, has not fought since that March bout. Now, Chambers has a interesting connection with the promoter, Tony Jeter, former world title contender Tony Mobetta Jeter. They're both Baltimore City police officers. So it's an interesting connection there. Now, other locals scheduled to appear on this card: Suitland, Maryland featherweight, the ambitious one, Malik Lofton. He's 3-1, 1 KO. Germantown, Maryland featherweight, Ibrahima Jawara, 2-1, 1 KO. DC super middleweight, the King's son, Jerry Odom, looks like he's going to be on a full-time schedule. He is 16-3-1, 15 KOs. Elkridge, Maryland lightweight, and of course Live Casino employee, the Red Comet Dante Cox. He's 4-1, 3 KOs. We have 2 debuting boxers on this card. Jay Stansel III out of Clinton, Maryland. He's a super bantamweight. He was scheduled to be on a card last month in the area, and his bout fell through. And also Blaze Fiddler. Blaze Fiddler Hernandez, as he's known. I think he's starting to be known now. He is a super featherweight from Arnold, Maryland. Both these guys, Stansel and Fiddler, were involved in the amateurs in the area, especially in the Golden Gloves. So that'll be on Friday night, October 18th, from Live Casino in Hanover, Maryland. We hope to have live blow-by-blow coverage of that card coming up on Friday, October 18th. Well, that'll do it here for another edition of Beltway Boxing News and Notes. And rather short podcast. Hope next week we hope to have some big events coming up for you next week. Of course, the Boxing on Beltway News and Notes podcast brought to you as always by Real Time Pain Relief. You go to freepainoffer.com, buy $10 worth of Real Time Pain Relief, you get a free $10 tube of Real Time Pain Relief, the official pain relief of the 2020 Daytona 500. Rub it on, the pain is gone in real time. And by DeborahSpears.com. Great weight loss tips, great jewelry, and great training methods at Deborah, Debra Spears.com. Don't forget to go to boxonbeltway.blogspot.com to go on the Amazon page and get your purchase your items through the boxonbeltway.blogspot.com. And don't forget, as always, you can get to me on Digital25 on Twitter. I'm Gary Digital Williams. Thank you so much for joining us here on Boxing on Beltway Podcast Network. Thank you as always. And always remember to keep supporting the best boxing in the world, the boxing along the Beltway. Thanks for listening. Take care.